the only thing that I can say and that'll really help somebody out is to stay focused. Like I said last podcast, if I was talking to my younger self, I'd say stay focused and be grateful, bro. Because everything you're going through is for a reason. If you got a lot of money and you live in a life, it's for a reason. If you don't have a lot of money, but you still busting your tail, you're going to get to that other life.
Hey, welcome to the State of the Black Man's Mental Health Podcast, and I'm your host, Paige Benjamin. And as you guys can see again, I got the amazing Tyler Hines. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on? I appreciate you for having me, bro.
Oh, man. It's 2025. Last year's over. New year, new us. Today I want to talk about gratitude, bruh. Gratitude. And, one of the things that I learned about you is when you came in, you were talking about one of the things that you have to do and there's no compromise for was your Sabbath, and how your faith have allowed you to show gratitude through the things that you do and the people around you. So let's talk about gratitude. What does gratitude mean to you?
Gratitude is everything to me, bro. Because for a while I didn't show any gratitude. Like I would say thank you and I'm appreciative, but I didn't really understand the full aspect of being grateful for what it is that I have. So every morning, on my journey to work, I started gratitude prayer with the Most High and just telling what I'm thankful for. It could be, I'm thankful for you waking me up. I'm thankful for the blessings that are to come. I'm thankful for the blessings that have already been here. I'm thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for protecting my kids. Like whatever it is that I can think of in the 8 to 15 minutes that I'm doing this prayer, I'm telling him that I'm grateful for everything. And in doing that, to me, it kind of shows him that no matter what, like I even said a gratitude prayer last week and I noticed it and I laughed about it when I got to work. I told him that I was thankful for all the things that I'm going through, right? So like everything that seems hard, somebody else might say like, this is really hard. Like you're going like having to take the 2-hour ride to work. Somebody might say, oh, that's really tough. But I told the Most High, like, thank you for that. It's building character. It's making me strong, So anything that I can be grateful for, anything that I can show gratitude for, I'm doing that. And in doing that is showing him that I'm appreciative and he keeps putting more on my plate, things that I can handle, as well as opening doors that I would never have even thought that I could open up or that he could open up, excuse me.
So let's talk about the origin story of your state of gratefulness, right?
Okay.
Of thankfulness. Like where did, the last time we talked, we got a little fast track of your life and how you came up and what got you here today. But what was that turning point in realizing, one, I need to be more grateful to the Most High for what He's giving you, to it becoming a consistent staple in your everyday life?
I think the biggest thing was losing a lot of materialistic things that I thought kept me going, like losing my car, losing, where I was staying at last and things like that. So it kind of put me in a place where I had to be grateful and understand that what he's putting on my plate is for a reason. Mm-hmm. And once I understood that, gratitude has popped up in my life in multiple ways. Like staying here with you guys, I've been able to show you guys gratitude with the things that I've been doing here at work, starting a new job and, being in a place where they didn't really have respect for new guys coming in or temp guys coming in, and then just building that up, right? So I had to understand that, when he takes things away from you, you have to be grateful for what it is that he's doing because he's showing you to be humble. He's showing you to be grateful, right? When he starts to take, because we get comfortable a lot of times. We get comfortable with our car. We get comfortable. Like I'm big on guns, right? I had to get rid of a few of my guns and it hurt. I didn't like it. But he also told me like, yo, you got more guns. Like be appreciative of the guns. So it's like anything that he's taken away or that he's given me, I've had to learn and understand to just be appreciative of what I have in the moment. Otherwise, I'll just take for granted and just do whatever it is that I want to do.
Now, gratitude doesn't come easy, right? And for you, it sounds like it came from a place of faith. So who introduced you to the Sabbath? And, what was that initial conversation like? Because I know you probably was like, my dude, like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
But what was that initial? And the reason I'm bringing this up is, if you don't believe in something, it's kind of hard to be in a moment of gratefulness or gratitude. And it's it's interesting because the way you talk about gratitude all comes from a spiritual place. So I want to understand like what got you there, and who got you there, and what was that initial conversation like? Because you're a heads down, head in the sand type of person when things may not be going as expected, and that's a lot of us, right? And we've had conversations multiple times on, hey bro, like when you're going through something, you can't just ghost people.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that are here that love you and want to see the best for you.
Yeah.
And ghosting us it makes us for some of us, and I'll say for me, one of the most scary things are when Black men are retreating to a place where they feel like they've gone through enough.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go silent and when they go ghost, my fear is they might be doing something to harm themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
It's understandable.
And I'm not saying that's where you were at, but me and my wife were frantically trying to reach you through every means possible. And for us, it's we saw a different side of you that kind of scared us to a bit, which kind of led us to being like, look, we need to help change things. So let's go back to what got you to a place of saying, I'm gonna try this thing out, and feel free to shout out whoever kind of put you on.
First of all, let's shout out the Most High, most importantly, right? Because even the guy that I'm about to mention, he'll tell you that the Most High sent him to talk to me, which is crazy, but we're about to get into that.
All right.
First of all, let's shout out the Most High, right? Because I grew up in a church, and for the longest, Christianity was something that I struggled with just because of the beliefs and the way that Christians go about things. I struggled with it for a very long time, which is to each his own. As long as you have faith, I strongly believe as long as you have faith, you're on to something, right? Working at this solar company, I know you tell me to F the solar company. But
listen, if they send us a check, don't forget them. We talking about eco-friendly, you know what I mean?
Facts. But working at a solar company, I ran into this guy, Brandon Smith. Brandon is he's an awesome guy. He's stand up. He has his morals, and one thing about him is he's extremely faith driven, right? So the way I met Brandon was, the first day of the working at this solar company, I thought it was a scam. And we got in there and they were teaching us things about how much money that you can make. And
she never fails. She's a hater, bruh.
Actually, that's me.
Nah, you good.
That might be my order.
Yeah, you good.
But yeah, no. But no, the most important thing that, they were teaching us, and they were saying that Brandon, at that time, he was one of our best reps. And so me being me, wherever I'm working, I want to talk to the guy in charge. I want to talk to the guy that's excelling the most, right? And so I wanted to meet Brandon. Brandon, on the other hand, had a different mission, right? The Most High had sent him to come and talk to me, which is crazy to hear him explain it. We got to get him on here so that he can explain his side of it. But around this time, I was going through a lot. That was around the time where I was shutting everybody out. I was trying to stay focused on what I was doing. Like, as you see now, I'm very headfirst in what I'm doing. Now, I might dive around in certain things. I might poke my head into certain things. But for the most part, when it comes to work, I'm straightforward in what I'm doing, right? Brendan kept poking at me, kept asking me questions like, hey, what is it that you believe in? Like, hey, what is it that you come and do the Sabbath with me? Come and do the Sabbath with me. And it wasn't like he was forcing me. He was just like, yo, when you're ready, I have a different perspective for you. And so after a while, things started to get a real rocky for me. And I started to reach out to the Most High and just pray to him, like, what's going on? I can't seem to understand what it is. And this is a little bit after I got off the phone with you guys, when you guys had called me, and you guys started with y'all. And I was like, nah, please don't. Like, when I shut people out, it's because I need to lock in and focus, right? But for the longest, I thought that it was my finance that was the problem. It was just me getting in tune with the Most High. Because even now, my finance isn't the best, but I'm in tune with him, and so I'm steadfast on what I'm doing. So Brandon kept telling me, like, yo, come just see about the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to believe anything that I'm saying. We read the same Bible as anyone else read. I want you to come and just get into the scriptures. And so I went and did a few Sabbaths with him. It was cool, getting back into the Bible, growing up in the church. we went through a lot of scriptures. We went through a lot of the laws of the Old Testament, and that's what we kind of focus on when we're doing the Sabbath. And then I stopped doing the Sabbath for a while. And in the time that I stopped doing the Sabbath, it was like, oh, hell had broke loose. Like everything started to hit. That's when I started losing my car. And that's when, where I was living at, the situation there started to get real bad. And my job, that's when the company went bankrupt and things like that. So I'm like, what the what's going on? And then I got back into Sabbath. And the minute that I got back into Sabbath, everything turned around. So I was like, okay, I got to keep this relationship with the Most High, right? Because for the longest, one of the things that Brandon used to say to me was, and I knew that this was God or the Most High talking through Brandon, using him as an instrument to talk to me. He used to say, there's a call, right? You're called to do something and you're not answering it. I always knew that. And the reason that I knew that this was God, because when I was growing up in church, right before I left for college, one of the ministers in my church had prophesied to me and said that I had a deeper calling than what I thought that I had, and that God was calling me to do something. So I was like, I never really cared for the church. So at that time, I was just like, I ain't really trying to hear all that. So whenever I did hear that, from Brandon, it was like, okay, I got to get in tune with the Most High. I have to learn what it is that he's trying to get me to do. And from there, I just been keeping the Sabbath every Saturday, just getting in tune with him, reading my scriptures daily, trying to understand exactly how it is that I can get in tune with the higher power, with the Most High. And from there, it's just one of the things that, you're reading the scriptures is that nothing that you can't praise or give any type of high praise to anything that you have. Everything goes to him because he gives it all to you, right? And he can take it away. That was one of the biggest things that I learned, because it's in the scriptures. It says whatever he gives you, he can take it away just as easy. So he gave me a nice car, he took it away. Gave me a nice house, he took it away. Gave me some nice guns, he took it away. Gave me a nice job, he took it away. Like, how does a whole company go bankrupt?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So from there, it's just growing and reading my scriptures. But as far as gratitude, I would have to say that Brandon's wife put me onto gratitude. We did a Sabbath one time. She was in the Sabbath, and she said, I dare you. And this is exactly how she said it. I dare, and this is for all of us in the Sabbath. She said, I dare you this week. This was a couple months ago. She said, I dare you to do a gratitude prayer every morning. Do it for a week and see where it gets you. And I asked her why. I said, we tell God what we're thankful for all the time. And she was like, nah. Tell him that you're thankful every day, even if you run out of stuff. And so I started to do that, and I haven't stopped since. Whatever it is that I can be grateful for, I'm grateful for it. Like I tell you guys all the time, I'm grateful for y'all. How is it that I can help around the house? How is it that I can help whatever I need to do to show you guys that I'm grateful, as well as just saying that I'm grateful. With the Most High, I think it's just being appreciative of what it is that you have, right? A lot of people might look at your journey and be like, oh, you're going through a lot. And to me, it's just like, we all go through a lot.
It's everyday stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is nothing to me. I went through a situation, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I went through a situation a couple weeks ago, or let me not say a couple months ago, where I was in front of Maya and her mom, and situation happened at work, and I began to cry at the table, and they were like, oh yeah, you're going through a lot. And I said, nah, you don't understand. I wish that, my mom was here to see how I'm handling these situations, because now I'm truly grateful for everything that I went through as a kid. Right. And I think we talked about this last podcast, like when you're looking at your adolescent life versus your adult life, is a lot of things that you should be grateful for. And I'm grateful for that. My mom put a lot into me to where I can be able to handle this. So the Most High put you in situations that you can handle. And if you're not grateful for it, you're just going to keep going through them.
Bro, you said a lot. I mean, that was, and that's, for me, it's I've been in this state of gratitude for some time now. Yeah. That's literally my everyday prayer. Thank you for what you've done for me. Thank you for what you're doing for me. Thank you for what you have planned for me. And just thanking for everything. Like, I didn't realize we had that in common, right? Yeah. And, once again, it's we are here because, like, you're here because of what I've been blessed with, of what your aunts have been blessed with, of what my mom has been blessed with. My mom is a prayer warrior. She is one of those people that she's up at 6 a.m. with like thousands of people on the line leading the call. Yeah. If something happens she has this one lady on one of her prayer calls. If they don't hear from her, she calls me, my sister, back to back to back to back. And then sometimes my mom just leaves the phone at home. But, you know, although this is a mental wellness platform, we can't dismiss the fact that, you know, our belief system has a huge role in how we move around.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you believe in and practice in Sabbath is, and once again, Sabbath in itself is a form of therapy.
Yeah.
I think of a couple of times, and once again, I want to, you know, keep what happens in the Sabbath within you guys, but like, I know a couple of times you've talked about how the brothers in the people that are in that time frame with you help bring certain things to perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the message of Brandon's wife kind of challenging you guys, how has, you know, once again, besides besides reading the word, how has that community helped you grow? Because I can only imagine the community you had prior was you, your lady, your kids, your siblings that you aren't too close with.
Yeah.
And then myself and your aunt that is kind of out here.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine you've been feeling like you're on the island for a long time without the Sabbath. So like, how is this? Is it like night and day now? Do you, cause listen, you smile just cause it's Tuesday nowadays, right? And that's beautiful to see, cause you know, coming in, I'm not saying you was like head down, but one of the first things I asked you to do was focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation, not realizing all that's been happening through Sabbath.
Facts.
You have been doing it, but you needed the space to do it.
I needed the space. That's facts. Yeah.
So tell me, how important is community in one, your wellness, right? Because your skin is glowing, you smiling on a regular day, your beard is finally coming through.
Yeah.
Right? How important is your community now? Because, you know, we had a conversation where somebody was like, I wish you were the person when you was doing this. And now that you're doing this, you even brought up today, it was like, yo, I ain't gonna lie to you, you looking good.
Yeah.
How did community help transform all of that?
I think how can I say this the right way? Because I was about to. Okay.
There's no wrong way. Just say it.
Even if we take out the community of the Sabbath, I think community in general is how we all, especially as Black men, how we all strive and how we all keep going, right? The community of the Sabbath just showed me from the perspective of age 6, maybe 6, 7, up until 40 and above, that we all go through the same thing, right? There's different perspectives of how we all look at the Bible, how we all look at the Most High, how we all look at ourselves, right? And so the community with the Sabbath just showed me that we all have problems, and there is no reason for us to be pondering in what it is that we're going through, knowing that other people are going through the same thing.
Right.
When you surround yourself with people that want the same thing, a lot of things change for you, right? Surrounding myself with the Sabbath community is a bunch of people that's trying to get in tune with the Most High and do things the way that we're supposed to do things, right? We're living in the Old Testament, and that is what we should be doing, I feel like, right? But it doesn't matter what religion that you have, as long as you have faith, that's what you should be doing. Surrounding myself with people that are workaholics, like all of us, I've become now an extreme workaholic. Like I've never missed any days of work, realistically, right?
Right.
But coming here is giving me a space to know, like, okay, I can't not grind because he's grinding, she's grinding, he's grinding. Like I can't miss. There's no way I can do that, right? So, just surrounding yourself with people that have the same goal and the same intentions as you, I think that changes your perspective in a lot of ways. You can't let up.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, society got a foot on your neck. Yeah. So if you let up, you know, it's only gonna get pressed even harder. Now, tell me how this state of gratitude has changed your life.
The state of gratitude has changed my life because it's given me a different perspective. I used to look at, and I think I said this a couple minutes ago, but I used to look at my situation and be like, I'm going through a lot. Like, this is a lot on my plate. And then I had to realize this is what I asked for. I asked to be strong, right? So like a couple weeks ago, the Most High showed me something from his perspective. And that's a big thing. If you ever get, shown something from the Most High's perspective, you learn a lot. The morning I did my gratitude prayer. I said, I'm thankful for you making me strong. I'm thankful for you making me go through things so that I'm humble, strong, that I'm meek, everything like that. And then I had a situation happen at work where I was like, F this, I ain't really do all this. But the Most High literally said to me, this is what you asked for. You asked for me to make you strong. How can you handle this situation? Can you deal with this situation the righteous way? Or are you going to go about it the wicked way? What are you going to do?
He taught you a lesson.
Big lesson, right? When you open up Psalms 38, it talks about the righteous ways and the wicked ways. It talks about how he feels, how the Most High looks at people when they're living in the righteous and when they're living in the wicked. Gratitude has changed my life because I've looked at everything from a different perspective. Like, yeah, this person might be nagging and wanting me to be the person that I once was when I was making a certain amount of money, but they're holding me to a certain standard. How is it that I set myself up to where I'm holding myself to a different standard? Now, back then, I would have been like, you just want me to make a lot of money. Like, you don't really care about me, right? But now I'm looking at it from a perspective of where it's like, nah, I have to look at myself in the light of which he looks at me. And so I look at all of my situations as if I'm thankful for it, no matter what happens. Like my bus came late this morning. What do I do?
Wait.
I could have just, but normally I'll be like, oh man, I'm gonna be late to work. Oh man, I'm gonna be like, nah, I just waited a little bit later and went to work. And when I got there,
that's a funny you say that because I think it was your third day at work, and your bus was late, and there was a derailment in front of you.
Yep, and that's another thing. So I'll even talk about that. I thought that I left the house at the same time that I've been leaving the house, right? And it was about my third or fourth day at work. But I left the house at the same time that I normally been leaving the house. And I ended up missing the bus. How did I miss the bus? And I left at the same time. So I'm at the bus stop and I'm like, I'm cussing. I'm hitting my leg. I'm grabbing my hair. I'm like, I'm about to be late. They already don't like temps. They're about to fire me. And the Most High kept telling me, yo, be chill. Be cool. You're going to see. It's a reason. And I was, in that moment, we're more mad about getting to work because we need to make that money, right?
We're human. And I'm going to let you finish that. Like, with gratitude comes grace.
Yes.
If you can't give yourself grace when you're in that moment of, in that time of gratitude, you're almost like negating all the work that's being done.
Absolutely.
But go ahead.
Absolutely. No, that's facts because I'm sitting there and I'm upset. And he like, yo, chill. Just chill. So I get on the bus, get to the train station, get on the train. Actually, before we get on the train's late too. So I'm like, yo, I'm about to be even later to work. Like, I don't even know what to do. So we're sitting on the train and the train stops. Dead in its tracks, like comes to a complete stop. And the conductor gets over the train and he says, give us a few moments. The train in front of us derailed. Ooh. And everybody started to get frantic. And I'm laughing. Like, how you laughing now? I'm just laughing because I'm like, okay, this is why I was late. And because I'm grateful for the things that he puts me through, I could have been just as frantic as everybody else. And I already was because I was mad when I got to the bus stop, mad when I got to the train station. But I realized that from his perspective, he was protecting me from something that how could I see that coming? There's no way that I would have known that train would have derailed because the bus that I was supposed to be on was going to put me on that train right there. You see what I'm saying? So when you're grateful and you're living a life of gratitude, a lot of things, they just come at you differently. Like I don't look at many of my situations or many of anyone's situations as troubling or as like people say you're going through hell. I don't even look at them like that anymore. Like this is a situation and yes, we need to handle it. But for the most part, the Most High is putting us through this for a reason.
And how old are you again?
I'm 24. I'll be 25 this year.
Listen, this guy is 24 years old, talking like he's like 50, 60 years old, man. Now, let's talk about, first of all, coming here, needing to find job, needing to find work, trying to make sure you do the best that you can for your family. And, first couple of days, we loaf because we're trying to feel the lay of the land. Mm-hmm. And then, me and your aunt put a little fire under your butt to go out and look for work. And you run into these multiple jobs and the one you have right now seems to be the most fruitful.
Yeah.
Right. Not fruitful just in hourly, but in the opportunity for growth.
Yes.
Because you could have gone back to sales.
Yes.
Which would have put you back to the mindset you was before. I gotta grind, gotta make this money. And you seem to be in a much more peaceful space, not having to worry about commission.
Yeah.
So tell us about how, and once again, this job was only supposed to be 30 days too, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, in this place of gratitude, how you've somewhat manifested a lot of the things that are happening to you today.
Well, when your life is led with gratitude, everything you want gravitates toward you. There's a scripture, Proverbs 16:9. Please don't quote me on this, y'all. But it basically says, a man's heart deviseth his ways. And then there's another scripture that says, as long as, and don't quote me on this, I don't know what scripture it is, but it basically says, as long as you are pleasing the Most High, He's going to grant you everything that your heart desires, right? And so because I have been grateful of the opportunities that have been given to me since I've come here, I've been able to gravitate a lot of the things that I actually want towards me. There's things that I couldn't even imagine that I've been doing in the past couple of weeks, past couple of days, weeks, the past month and some change that I would have never even thought of doing because I've been so steadfast on other things. Because I did not go back to the sales environment, which, I love my sales, but because I did not go back to that environment, I got put back into the hustle and bustle of the W-2, right? And in doing that, becoming a temp, I had to learn how to manage my time at work. The first couple of days, they were filling me out. The first couple of days, I was filling them out. And now they're trying to put me in a position to where I control a couple of the branches that I work for. How could I can't even, the Most High got his hands all on that because, like I told Auntie today, I can't even, that's something that I never would have thought of, right? First of all, this job, they don't care for temps. My boss told me today, bro, we don't, he literally said, I don't, excuse my language, chat, but I don't fuck with temps. I never have, because the last temp that we had, she left the day she started. The temp before that at another branch, she was so bad at what she did, we fired her. He said, so when you came in, we didn't really care about you. He said, but that first week led to the second week. That second week led to the third week. That third week led to the fourth week.
So you was on trial every single day of that job.
See what I'm saying? And so because of...
And now, mind you, because the bar was set so low, and, average numbers are 15, 20 a week. This guy is push his numbers were what, 100 a week?
Bro, my first week, I did 75 claims. The second week, I did 115 claims. I don't even know how many claims I've done after that. I got a notepad with everything written down, but...
And mind you, one of the things that I told him was pace yourself. Because, I understand the grind, but you're at a place right now where it's all about protecting your peace.
Yeah.
And certain things are sustainable and certain things aren't.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I wanted to make sure that you understood was I wasn't telling you to stop or slow down. I was telling you more so be mindful of how you do work, because how you do work, they're going to expect it, and they're going to know, hey, if he can do this, I'm going to put all of this on him. Now, once again, God don't give us anything we can't handle.
Not at all.
So I say all that to say, my goal wasn't to tell you to slow down.
Yeah.
It was to pace yourself.
Nah, I needed that because the first week I was overworking. It's funny, now that I'm training a temp, I actually have to tell him to slow down because I'm like, bro, you're not going to get it in the first week. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you standing up and you're doing all this work, your back going to be hurting. My back was hurting for 2 weeks. So I'm like, yo, you got to chill. But I needed that, right? And that's another thing that I'm appreciative for, because even now they're like, yo, you taking your time. You good? Yeah, I'm good. I got this. We good. I'm gonna take my time though, because I've already put in the work to establish who I am here at this company. And there are people in rooms that I shouldn't even be in that are mentioning my name. You get what I'm saying? And so for the past 30 days, I've really made a statement as to who I am. And for my boss to want to give me access to
things and
like
and equipment.
Three different branches now that he's trying to give me access over just from being a temp in 30 days. Like there's a person in a position above me that does the same thing that I do, and she's over the region. He wants me to work like how she works. I need that kind of money, though.
Let's get my man. Let's get my man this money. You know what I mean? But it's I joke around, right? But it's never about money.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I love if you notice, I let you talk.
Yeah.
Because I love to hear people's stories,
Yeah.
the good, the bad, the ugly. And when we talk about gifts that are given or our destinies, I think, one of the things that people constantly tell me is I make them feel comfortable to be able to talk.
Yeah.
And I think it's only because we're not given the opportunity to talk.
A lot of people don't give us the floor to do that. And the reason being is because, and you know what? I used to be like this. I think you were in the car when Auntie said this to me a couple of years ago, maybe a year and some change ago, I don't know. But she was like, you don't talk about yourself as much. A lot of people talk about themselves and they don't really give you the opportunity to say like, hey, I got a story too.
Right.
And so, talking to you sometimes it's like, yeah, we get to talk about a lot that's on the table, but it's also, we talk about a lot of growth, right? We talk about how it, like, work on yourself. Nobody's told me that in the past 5 to 6 years. Nobody has told me that in the past 10 years. Okay. Let's start there. Like, nobody has told me that in the past 10 years.
When you're not on the court, no one's telling you to work on yourself, because working on yourself on the court
is different. To,
everybody benefits from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So definitely understand that part. So how do you feel, bro? Like it's about a month and some change since you've been here.
Nah, it's well over that. I was here before Thanksgiving.
Oh wow! So it's
been some time now.
It's been some time.
I've been here for a minute.
So we going on a month and a half, give or take a few. You've been doing Sabbath for at least the last 4 years.
Sabbath?
Yeah, no. Sabbath probably the last 2 or 3 years?
I would say the Sabbath? Nah,
Yeah.
I've only been doing Sabbath for this past year.
Wow.
If that. Like, it hasn't even been a full year yet.
So, and the reason I'm trying to put together this timeline is like, one, it doesn't necessarily happen overnight.
Yeah.
Because let's put it like this, like the work that you're receiving is due to the work that you put in.
Yeah.
And I just want to kind of give you kudos in this moment, right?
Yeah.
Because, when we're down and out, we wanna fall to our vices. We want to blame everybody for the things that aren't going right for us.
Yeah.
And me and your aunt had to put our foot up your ass a couple of times. Be like, look, bro, like, what's your game plan? And I think our generation and the generation before us haven't taken that time to like be like, yo, what's the end game for you?
Yeah.
Because you have a kid, you have 2 kids, you have 2 children, you have one on the way, and it's looking grim right now. What's your game plan? And for us, being blessed with extra space, only allowed us to be able to like she really hit me up. She's like, hey, I want to see if they could come up here. And I was like, I would have been asked, like, you know what I mean? I wanted to make sure she was ready, because like for me, it's like, yo, like I don't see no other way.
Yeah.
Because once you talked about the Sabbath changes perspective, your environment also changes your perspective. Right? Like
100%.
You could have still been in the Sabbath and still where you're from.
I was.
And you're like, yo, I'm not seeing any daylight.
I was.
You know what I'm saying?
I was, so I know.
and so I definitely appreciate you sharing your story, because like there are probably more people like you in that town that are going through what you were going through.
Yeah.
And for them, unfortunately there's no way out.
Yeah.
Like everybody don't got an aunt, uncle, friend that's willing take that, not necessarily risk, but take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is, right? It's
Yeah.
like all we can do is share what we've been given and hope and pray that he'll receive it in a way that it's an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's been done many a times.
Yeah.
And you know, I've done it for others. Some spit back in my face with it. I think I was at one point where I wanted to giving up helping people, because I know you don't do it to get in return, but when people take it and spit in your face,
Yeah.
it makes you feel like, what am I doing this for?
But you can't do that though.
Right.
And this is why you can't. And you probably already know this. If that's your gift, that's your gift.
Right.
Who are you hurting if you stop helping people?
Myself.
You're not hurting me. If you don't help me, you're not hurting me at all, right? Because that's your gift. Is that the light that you carry is the light that you give. So if your light is to give and you're not giving, that's between you and him.
Right.
And I would rather make me and you mad than to make him mad, right? So I'm going to give as much as I can give. If they spit back in your face, this is the thing about it. And I just said this the other day. When you mess with someone who is covered, blessed, and anointed by the Most High, he's going to deal with you. You don't deal with that person, right? Like 90% of the people, 99% of the people that spit in your face, you don't deal with anymore, right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you they're not in the same position as they were when you were helping them. Nope. Correct or incorrect?
Nope. You're right. The
Most High had to deal with them. And I know that from where I'm at, like people like Maya even looks at me sometimes and she's like, yo, you've helped X, Y, and Z. How is it that you're not in a position that like to where you can do X, Y, and Z? It's like, yo, don't even worry about that. I did what I was supposed to do. So you have to do what you're supposed to do. If your gift is to be a help to people and 50% of the people take that and they grow, 50% of the people take that and they digress, Paige did his job. Most High got you, bro. After that, the Most High got you, real shit. So I told you since I've been here, just like Brandon, and I said this in a Sabbath I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I told you this. I was giving you your flowers, bro. I give Brandon his flowers just like I give you your flowers. You've been a great mentor to me. You've been a great help to me. Some people are receptive to the information that you give. Some people are not.
I could be a lot sometimes, so I understand it. Like
everybody's a lot. Everybody's a lot.
You're right.
The thing about it is, bro, is don't hate the messenger. Receive the message. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. The Most High is in the scriptures. The Most High opened up a donkey's mouth to talk. It's in the scriptures. So like whoever it is that's saying it, at that point, it really doesn't matter. Receive the message. You get what I'm saying? So when you are being a lot, it's not you being a lot. It's the gift that you have. And either people are going to be receptive of it or they're going to deny it. They're going to reject it. And either way, you still got to keep being Paige. Like I'm still going, no matter what I'm going through, I'm still going to be me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And you still going to be you. So if your gift is to give, bro. Because the moment you stop giving, the Most High stop giving to you. You see what I'm saying? Look what you blessed with, bro.
Yeah.
Imagine if you stop helping people. You think he won't take this away from you?
Listen.
And you said it. I got a backup plan, but you don't think that he'll take this away to show you like that's your
backup
gift?
Plan too. All it takes is one thing. All it takes is one thing. Now, with that being said, this was amazing, and what I would like you to do is leave those that are feeling down and out, feeling like they're the only ones going through this, feeling like no one sees them, because I think that's the biggest problem.
Absolutely.
Right? Like we are constantly in a state of feeling unseen, unheard. Leave leave that person with a message of how changing their mindset to being in a state of gratitude can really truly change their mind. But not just that, but also strengthening their faith in the power that they believe in.
Everything starts with the mind. If you are not willing to evolve, change, or grow your mindset, you'll still be in the same predicament that you're going through. If you are not willing to adapt and understand what it is that you're going through truly and be grateful for what it is that you're going through, you're going to be in the same mindset that you're in. I had to learn, the biggest thing that I had to learn along with gratitude was that you're not going to do anything other than what you're supposed to do. The Most High is going to have you doing what you're supposed to do. You were supposed to help me come here. I was supposed to come here and do my job and grow, right? So you have to understand that what you're going through is for a reason. And once you understand that what you're going through is for a reason, you have to understand how to change that. We are in complete control of what it is that we're doing. Free will. It's the same thing as a free mindset. You can, if you attract negative things, you're going to get negative results. If you attract positive things, you're going to get positive results. If you attract gratitude, you're going to get a lot of things that you actually desire, right? Like I just said earlier in the podcast, because I've changed my mindset to gratitude and say, hey, I might have to walk 20 minutes and then take a 2-hour bus ride to work. I might have to, but I'm getting to work every day. Have I missed a day of work?
No, even
In
on
4
holidays.
weeks?
Even on holidays.
Shit, I'm there on holidays, bro. So it's like, okay, that's cool. Now what they're trying to do? Trying to put me into a position that it wasn't a position before I got there. They're making this a position now. You see what I'm saying? Everything else that I've wanted to do in the past couple of weeks, like I told you, you told me to make a list. About 40 to 50% of what's on that list has a check mark by it. So when you change your mindset and be grateful for the things that you're going through, grateful for the things that you've been through, grateful for the things that you're going to go through, everything else changes for you, bro. Everything starts with your mindset. And if you're not willing to change your mindset, you might as well just go ahead and stay in that situation. Stop asking God for change. Be the change. That's what I did. You know what I'm saying? I became the change. I started to do a lot of things differently. Like I started to work out. I mean, I'm sure y'all can see it in these arms.
Anyway, so
nah, but for real, like change. If you're gonna ask God for change, show him that you're willing to change. A lot of the things that I did, like fasting. Oh, God knows I could not fast to save my life. Like I love food, but I fasted for a few days. I fasted for a day, fasted for a few days from liquor, fasted for a day from food, fasted. I made a deposit to the Most High to show him I'm ready for you to take me to the next level. And that showed him that I was actually appreciative of what it is that could come. Ever since then, everything's changed for me. So with a tweak of a mindset, with a tweak of your environment, with a tweak of the people that are around you, you can completely change the game. A lot of the reason that people are stuck, and I'm a living testament of this, a lot of the reason that people are stuck in the situation that they're in is because they're afraid of change. The fear of change isn't anything but not knowing. You don't know anyways.
Right.
That's the thing. Right. Bro, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So if you live in your life in fear, you're just going to be stuck in today. That's how I feel. So change your mindset. Don't live in fear, and be open and willing to whatever it is that the Most High is going to put on your plate. If you're one of his toughest soldiers, he's going to give you one of the toughest battles. And you really got to stand up to that. You got to be able to go. And the only thing that I can say and that'll really help somebody out is to stay focused. Like I said last podcast, if I was talking to my younger self, I'd say stay focused and be grateful, bro. Because everything you're going through is for a reason. If you got a lot of money and you live in a life, it's for a reason. If you don't have a lot of money, but you still busting your tail, you're going to get to that other life.
Listen, he's only 24 years old, spitting hot fire like Dyline. Am I missing 2 Dylines? But no, I mean, you said you hit it on the neck. Changing your mindset. It's being sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And realizing that something's got to change in order for things to change for me. And, that's what we're here for at Get My Cheese Back on My Cracker Foundation. We are about showing that there are multiple ways for us to get our cheese back on our cracker. Faith, therapy, working out, eating right, exercising. The thing that is troubling you is the thing that you need to work on. If finances is troubling you, you need to start talking to somebody that can help you better understand. If your weight is the issue, you might need to talk to somebody to help you understand. And it's not about the get to the result quick. It's sometimes the hard work to see the result.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, with that being said, this is another State of the Black Man's Mental Health podcast. And today we talked about gratitude. So if you want to hear more about what we're talking about, what we plan to talk about, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. Tell us what other topics you guys would love to hear us talk about.
Yeah.
And, brothers, if you're out there and you want to be able to talk or tell your story, please feel free to hit us up at Cheese on My Cracker on Instagram, at Cheese on My Cracker on TikTok, at Cheese on My Cracker on Threads, everywhere at Cheese on My Cracker. With that being said, peace.
Peace.
This was a good stuff, my brother. Good stuff.